Unhealthy and unaccountable. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Oh, self-esteem, inclusivity, acceptance, affirmation. Oh, these are just some of the words you're going to see on posters, inspirational posters in schools across America. They're kind of typical consultant-driven drivel. But the cliches are an innocuous means of packaging a destructive agenda to destigmatize dangerous behavior. Now children are taught that boys can be girls, girls can be boys, and both can be both at the same time, just by feeling and thinking, or as they say, identifying. And when they identify, they qualify.
As a pediatrician, when it comes to making sure kids are healthy and happy, I know how important care that affirms someone's true identity can be.
Yes, that means we must affirm your truth, regardless of what your truth is. And we must call this progress because the experts at the American Academy of Pediatrics say so. But we know that this breeds more confusion among children, and sometimes it leads to dangerous results.
It wasn't capable of understanding, and it was downplayed consistently. My parents, on the other hand, were pressured to continue my so-called gender journey with a suicide threat. I will never be able to breastfeed a child. I have blood clots in my urine. I am unable to fully empty my bladder.
Heartbreaking. Today, the lies told in the name of health care and safety are myriad. Of course, we saw this in spades during COVID.
If they're old enough to wear a mask, they should be wearing a mask throughout the entire period of time, except obviously when you're eating.
How do you operate a school that's socially distanced, with masks, without gatherings? So we're going to have the schools remain closed for the rest of the year.
Of course, this is the exact opposite of what should have happened. Kids need exercise, masks do not work, and students need to be in the classroom. Now, the main reason for keeping them out of school, you may remember, was the concern that they'd infect adult staff. However, a pair of recent studies from Kaiser and Harvard Med School strongly suggest that, once again, the teachers' unions and the public health officials were wrong. The findings suggest that social distancing and isolation at a population level, particularly from young children, may have counterintuitively put some people at greater risk of COVID infection or severe disease once they resumed normal contact. Well, none of this was counterintuitive to the Angles Medicine Cabinet, you may remember. But now, they didn't listen, and the damage is done. Now, to children's health, mental and physical, with reports of skyrocketing depression, anxiety, and learning deficits, and perhaps even more dangerous, increased child obesity. That's what we're seeing. Now, this problem really began to develop decades ago. But during COVID, it only got worse. Athletic participation, remember, declined dramatically, and time spent on screens rose exponentially. So did things like ordering takeout, which meant more unhealthy eating. No wonder trust in public health figures is cratering today. And to add insult to literally injury, the medical experts are recommending prescription drugs and extreme surgeries on children now as young as 12 and 13.
The American Academy of Pediatrics is out with new guidelines for the first time in 15 years when it comes to the treatment for childhood obesity. AAP now says weight loss drugs should be considered when treating children.
The new guidelines from the AAP recommend better nutrition, exercise, and face-to-face counseling. Treatment may also include weight loss drugs and surgery for adolescents who meet the criteria.
I think that it's definitely a step in the right direction. It's not about how you look, it's how your body is on the inside.
Well, that's what Lizzo thinks.
When I was a little girl, all I wanted to see was me in the media. Someone fat like me. Make some noise for my big girls!
But while encouraging kindness is one thing, glamorizing obesity with its many health risks is quite another. But that's exactly what's happening in this inclusivity cult. They're normalizing something we should be strongly discouraging. Because you weren't born with high BMI, you arrived at high BMI. And the more overweight we are, the greater the chance we're going to develop diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. But the popular culture says, stop the shaming, start the selling.
If companies can get over their elitism and fat phobia, they can unlock an entire group of people to their brand.
My body is flexible and powerful. I've realized the more I show of it, the more strength I give to others.
A super transparent way to show plus-size women that they have more options. And if we can make things truly size inclusive, we're going to make a more positive world.
Well, the message here is you're perfect the way you are. Conventional standards be damned. Just all about loving yourself.
Loving yourself, quote unquote, made me eat KFC 3 times a day and gain a lot of weight and turn sedentary. Hating myself encouraged me to be different and encouraged me to change my life. And as a result, I've influenced thousands of kids younger than me's lives.
Now, this is common sense. If we truly care about young people and adults who are struggling with their weight, the last thing we should do is slather them, marinate them, and happy talk. We should respect them enough to tell them the truth. This overwhelmingly is about self-control, diet, and exercise. And when we take in more calories than we burn, the excess is stored as fat, period. Now, every child should be told this and know this. This requires us to be better parents, eat dinner at night with our kids, provide them with simpler, better food choices, and strictly limit screen time. And also require some form of physical exercise. But look, to even say that, to think that, is fat shaming.
So it's using this term fat shaming. We've come up with a name for it. Let's be honest. Fat shaming is just bullying. That's what it is. It's bullying. And bullying only makes the problem worse.
Well, repeat, no one should be bullied. But neither should anyone be deluded into thinking that the answer to their problems lies in a pill or drastic surgery, when for most people, the answer lies within themselves. And it starts with exercising restraint and self-control. Now, we all fall down in that. We all do. But we shouldn't glorify our mistakes. We should learn from them. And we shouldn't glamorize them. Now, this spurred a debate. That was a video for Miley Cyrus as one of her songs about normalizing obesity. And this debate happened on Good Morning Britain.
Would you be happy with skeletal models doing it?
You talk about it.
Would you be happy with a really skinny, really ill-looking skinny model appearing in that video? Would you be happy with that?
I think if someone is like that...
Yeah.
But she wasn't born like that. She's
Right.
made herself that way.
That's the hypocrisy of this debate, is that because people are massively overweight, we're not allowed to say, actually, that's unhealthy. I think we should be able to.
Well, he's right. Doing anything less is a dereliction, which is exactly what the American Academy of Pediatrics is guilty of in their new recommendations. Now, this is from Dr. Sandra Hassink, who co-authored this recommendation and this report. Obesity is not caused by a failure of diligence or a personal problem, they say. It's no different from when you have asthma and there's a new inhaler for you. Well, there they go again. Removing personal responsibility from life and replacing it with the we're all victims of circumstances mentality and offering shortcuts courtesy of Big Pharma and the medical industrial complex. If we allow them to destigmatize bad choices, from things like watching porn, smoking pot, to being seriously overweight, we shouldn't be surprised when we leave behind generations of entitled, coddled, unhealthy snowflakes who start melting when the Wi-Fi goes down or their Uber Eats doesn't arrive. The government isn't going to solve this, and the expert class isn't going to solve this. We're going to have to go back to the basics and solve this ourselves. And that's the angle.